Geocachomaniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Hey, welcome to Geo Gearheads. This is a weekly podcast about geocaching and geolocation games. I'm Chris of the Northwest, along with our illustrious and sometimes illuminated host, and often animated, Daryl W4.
I am definitely illuminated because the lights are hurting my eyes.
Yeah. Animated? No, not tonight.
No,
just
I have
not
to pretty
drawn
much
to it.
stay here in this box. But it is so good to be back in the studio tonight, even though I seem to have problems remembering how to operate it.
Well, you know, a week away will just rattle the brain, not to mention a little jet lag here and there.
Well, yeah, and, you know, it was one of those trips where you're working 14 to 18 hours a day. You know, you spend 10 hours in the airports and planes each way. So the interesting thing was I had a puppy next to me on the flight back. I've never had that before.
Did you get to keep it?
Well, the puppy was with its human.
Oh.
But the puppy liked me.
Of course. Puppies like everyone.
The human didn't like that the puppy liked me so much because the puppy kept going to come over and they're trying to watch their Netflix show. So it was an interesting flight.
I don't ever think I've been on an airplane with an animal. Well, we had a real animal, not a person.
We had two dogs out on the plane, you know, in people's laps during this flight. I've never seen that before. Not that I fly that much.
Right.
But I think that's probably the difference between, you know, flying during the week and flying during the weekends. So that's what I'm going to chalk it up to.
Okay. Well, how am I going to argue with you? I didn't have a puppy on a plane experience this week.
Yeah, and you haven't flown in a while.
No, I have not. I'm getting ready, though, to take a boat internationally.
Interesting.
Yes. So
you'll have to tell us more about that later.
Yeah. Well, in an upcoming show, we'll talk about all the preparations it takes to travel these days.
Yeah, which is probably going to change by the time we do that show.
Exactly. It could change by the time I take my trip.
Well, and even just going from here to San Francisco, the requirements to go into stores and restaurants changed because you actually have to have your vaccination card if you're going to eat in the restaurant in San Francisco. Very weird.
Yeah.
I get it. It's very weird.
Yeah. Because, you know, a paper mask can save you from a virus that you can't see.
Well, we just had
did I say that out loud? Sorry, that wasn't right.
We just had the discussion the other day about how, you know, the food makes them jump over people, but alcohol attracts them.
I thought it was a height thing. So when you sat down to eat, the virus then just flies over your head. But when you stand up, it smacks you in the face.
No, because it's attracted to alcohol. Because if you go to the bar, you're going to get drunk and get COVID. So, you know, we figure that COVID is a drinker.
Oh, okay.
At least socially. But we're not here to make more bad, really poor taste jokes.
Yeah, thank you.
We're here to talk about our 2022
my job, by the way, and you took it from me.
Sorry, it's the jet lag. But we've got a couple of great guests that we have brought in to talk about setting goals. And first off, we're going to welcome back Monkey Tiger.
Yay! Hey!
You have to emphasize the tiger because it has an exclamation point.
Yes,
actually, the entire thing is equally emphasized. Monkey Tiger.
But I don't think I did it quite right.
Yeah,
Chris, do you want to give it another shot?
There.
Monkey Tiger.
Ooh, that's nice.
Better.
I was almost angry. But,
that's nice.
Okay.
But since I'm having problems introducing,
you can use it.
Since I'm having problems introducing guests appropriately, I'll let you introduce our next guest.
Well, the next guest is somebody I know from my neck of the woods. It's JT Coffee.
Hi. No punctuation required.
She makes it nice and easy for us.
That's true.
Oh, so yeah, we're going to be talking about setting our goals for 2022. And I figure, before we get started on this, I need to admit I still haven't made my goal for 2021.
Ooh.
Which
We
are
could have
you
all
saying you
predicted.
haven't reached your goal, or you haven't made a goal yet for 2020?
No, I haven't reached the goal, because remember, my
Okay.
goal was to at least do one a day, because the last couple of years I haven't been able to pull that off. So I'm only I think it's 14 short.
Oh, well,
one a
that's
day
easy.
is
Still hopeful.
one a day is in a streak, or one a day is in 365.
No, just
caches?
has 365 caches.
Got it.
I know there's no chance I could do the streak. Like many other cachers, we've been caching long enough and don't have high enough turnover on the caches that it's really tough for me to do a cache a day. Especially if I'm going to do I'm sorry?
I am not a streaker. A streak just doesn't
Why
work
not?
for me. It's one of those things. Do you remember the 31 Days of August?
Yes.
Back so many years ago, I thought, you know what? August, it's my month off. I don't really have a month off work, but that's one of my quieter times. I should be able to do that. No, I still, get too busy, and it's like, you know what? I didn't get a cat. And I mean, here in the Northwest at August, you could still have light till 9-10 o'clock. So even that didn't help.
For 3.5 years of caching, I said, I'm not going to streak. Everybody I talked to that streaked hated it. They said it was awful. I'm like, I am not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. But then I started looking at the calendar, and I wanted to fill in the days. So I thought, I'm not going to streak, but I'm going to if I'm missing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then not go Friday because I already got one. I did this, and I got to December, and my longest streak at that point had been 6 days. And I got to December, and I was missing 23 days in December.
Oh,
And I thought, wow, that's a lot. And I thought, that's almost the whole month. I should just do a 31-day streak. It'll look good on my stats. I've got to go out 23 of the days anyway. It's not that much more. So I did the 31, and I got done, and I'm like, that wasn't horrible. 60 would be better. So I started working towards 60. And I'm like, I'm not doing a 366. I am not doing a 366. And then as I got in the 40s, I'm like, I should go triple digits though. I should do 101 days. And I just kept saying, you're not doing a 366. You're not doing a 366. And somewhere in there, I'm just like, shut up, Janiak. You're doing a 366. So yeah, I wound up doing a 404-day streak is what I wound up, because my 366 ended November 30th. And I thought, I can't cache January through November and not finish the year, right? So I'm like, so I got to tack on the 31 days there. And then the 31st or the 1st or whatever was a Wednesday or something. And I'm like, you can't have it, you got to have an epic finale to a caching streak, and you can't have an epic finale on a Wednesday. You just can't do it. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Saturday. So I wound up with a 404-day streak. Anyway,
Nice.
according to this logic,
too.
you should never have stopped.
Well, there you go.
404 is an around number. I may as well go up to 500.
Trust me, I've had a few regrets. So, I've signed 2 different challenges that are have a 500-day streak. And I'm like, yeah, I'll still sign the challenge, but I don't think I'm ever going to go back and do that. Although I have good friends that did 2 separate. They did a 444-day streak, and then they did an entirely different, 2 years later, I think they did 366. So, it can be done.
It definitely can be. I started my streak the same way of I was trying to fill my calendar. There was only 5 days that I didn't need to go out in the July that I started. And so I thought, I'm just going to streak the whole thing. And then I thought, well, I already did 30 days. I suppose if I'm a third of the way there to 100 days, I might as well just keep going. And then at 100 days, I'm like, well, I'm a third of the way to a year. I should just keep going. So I got to a year, and I thought, well, I'm a third of the way to 3 years, so I should just keep going.
Wow. No, I felt a little twinge of panic when I first stopped, but it was very fleeting. Yeah, the day 405 was kind of I should be caching, but day 406, I'm like, no, I'm good. Actually, I'm really good. I'm really, really good. So.
See, and when you mentioned the 404. The only thing I could think of is now I have to do at some point 404 days of not caching.
No, I
So I
have no
have cash
desire.
not found. But that's got to be like the hardest one to do.
Yeah, no, I
'Cause
have no
how are
idea.
you going to not find a cache for 404 days
over a year.
and then get back to it? And because if you go that long, you're going to have to find something really easy to get back on the horse because you're not going to have any geosense left.
But you know what though? That I would miss all that fun. I don't
Well,
cache
exactly.
because of the caching. I cache because I've got awesome people that I cache with. I got a whole
Mhm.
different crew of people, and if we didn't go caching, I don't know what we would do. We'd have to like go to the ballet or something, and I'm not
Well,
really a ballet.
here. You can go caching, but you can't log the caches.
Oh boy.
Oh.
I have to admit, I'm actually about 2 months behind in my logging, so I'm well on my way towards that.
There.
If it
Well,
weren't
think
for the
about,
dang
like-
adventure labs, I would not have the reach the peak things because those are the only things that are saving me since you can't log those later.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, think of all the souvenirs you'd miss out on if you didn't cache
Yeah.
for a year or didn't
That
log
too.
them. Or
Yeah, why am I going to give out some souvenirs? I mean, do you realize that's like a 2-inch piece of digital art that I would be missing? I mean, I'm
Right.
assuming in like 20 years, these things are going to be like Picassos or whatever, selling for millions of dollars. I
Aren't
mean,
they
that's the way
NFTs?
that's the way work, isn't it?
Mhm.
I still want to know how we are so into these little, easily reproducible images.
'Cause they're beautiful and you earn them.
No, but it's like it's not like anything you actually get to physically hold or anything like that. Why are we so into it? And it is
Wait,
a badge thing.
Wait,
It's still a goal.
You're not getting the 24 karat gold plated ones from HQ? They always send me one. It's
Mhm.
gold and it's got the art.
Only
I
the
guess I
very
better be
special
quiet.
people get that.
I better. You know what? Never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Totally something else. Yes. So it's
That's
my.
because you have an
book.
exclamation point in your name.
Exactly.
Mhm.
See, he found the loophole we weren't supposed to let anyone else know. Now they're going to have to stop doing that.
Oh, they did.
Wow. Okay. So we're so far off the topic, but does anyone else have any goals that they have or have not met that they want to mention for 2021 before we get started?
I want to get the souvenir sent to me. That's my goal now. Now that I know it's a possibility. I've
It's
gotta work
truly a
into it.
possibility. I totally didn't just make that up. It absolutely happens. You just
Yeah.
you keep on them until you get
Okay.
one sent to you. I mean that's what you do. You've got the vehicle right here. You've got this amazing show that reaches I'm guessing 15 million people a week.
Tens of people.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you've got the power. I say push it until you get it.
Okay.
So
Just finding our way says you must be a platinum member. That's beyond premium.
there we go. Shh.
Yeah, 2021 goals. I have a whole page in my notebook for 2021 goals, and then all the subsequent pages are for my goals so that I can accomplish them. I'm very goal oriented, and so I set lots of them over the year.
So how many of them are you hitting and how many are you going to miss?
I am going to miss 3 of them, but I'm going to
Hold
hit
on.
the rest.
Did you hear that sound? That was the sound of my bubble bursting. You missed the goal?
Yes. I'm very good at setting goals, but I'm also really good at letting them go if for some reason it's just not feasible. That's a gift of 2020, I think. Because I had so many goals and then I had to let so many of them go, like, well, forget that. I'm not getting that one. Definitely not working on that one. And because those goals I can just pull out for later.
Mhm.
I was working on different flavors of my calendar grid. So I wanted the small calendar, a regular calendar, because I had done a traditional, a multi, and a puzzle calendar. So I wanted to do all the different sizes. And there were my other calendar and my regular calendar. I missed a couple of days in the beginning of the year that I didn't realize. And so I'll have to catch those next year.
And I'm sorry, are you saying size calendar? Like you have to find a large every day of the year? Is that what you're talking about?
Right. Not in streak mode, but in just to fill those boxes.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to need to drop off. I'm apparently not quite hardcore enough for this. Like, like I had a goal to find 50 caches last year. So I did, I was able to do that. That was pretty sweet. But wow, a size calendar. I haven't even heard of that. And I consider myself fairly seasoned.
Well, Geo Monkey Tiger, you sorry, I had to throw that in there.
That's right. It's
You
acceptable.
worked hard to finish your calendar, you just said, right?
Yes. Yeah. Although this was a couple of years ago.
Right. So now all you have to do is look at that and go, you know what? I should do one for nanos. I should do one for smalls. I should do one for regulars. It's so easy.
Is it? I mean, there must be checkers or something out there that you could use to figure that out. I guess somebody's written a checker somewhere. Okay. And you can't, and sorry, I don't know if I could say this with an official Groundspeak person on there, but like you can't do that as a real challenge anymore, can you? I don't think you could specify like size and date. I mean,
a real challenge.
Well, no, like if you were going to publish a new challenge, I don't think that would meet the guidelines. Is that right? Because I don't think if you say you have to have, or can you, because it's not streak related. I know if you do a streak, you can't put any criteria, like you can't say like it can't be a mystery cache every day for a year or a month or whatever, things like that. I wasn't sure if filling in the dates would count. So
it varies regionally. You'll need some people in your region. You'll need to achieve it yourself, and then you'll need a handful of people within your region that also have achieved it in order to get a consideration for a challenge. And just in our area, in fact, just north of where I live, there's a handful of challenges. It's not filling in your calendar, but it is about sizes. It's finding like a small on at least a certain amount, I can't even remember now, a certain number of Sundays or through spring or something like that. So it is possible criteria.
Yeah, and as long as you have the checker, I think they will consider it, if I remember correctly.
I know there's some things you can't actually set challenges up for.
You can't have the
like I said. One of my favorites is I did a 101 day mystery streak, and you can't do that anymore. I know. So
yeah, you can't do right, and you can't do the not found streaks. Yeah, you can't say anything over 365 is not allowed now. So yeah, there's a lot of them, but yeah, there's a lot of room for interpretation still. Yeah.
And there's a whole chart in the help center of acceptable criteria in case you're thinking, oh my gosh, there are things that I can't do a challenge on. It's the whole chart and it'll explain it all for you.
We, well, one of my 2021 caching goals was I was part of a group called the Moo Crew. And so we launched a brand new Gadget Cache trail in Jackson County, Georgia, which is northeast of Georgia, or northeast of Atlanta. It's not northeast of Georgia. That would be silly because then it wouldn't be in Georgia anymore. But it's northeast of Atlanta. And anyway, we did a Gadget Cache trail. It was 14 new caches, but we hosted an event which turned into a mega, which was really cool. And so a lot of my goals for this year were related to that event and doing it. But we did a GeoArt, we did an 81 DT puzzle series, and we also did 39 challenge caches. So we're very well versed in the challenge cache criteria and the process and such. So very, very, very well. In the help section online is very, very well done. I mean, it really lays out clearly what you can and can't do and such. So kudos to whoever wrote that. They did a nice job with that. And I don't know if it was you, even extra kudos because you're on the show. So
it wasn't me. It was my team, though.
So, oh, and cool. Somebody said Jackson County was a blast. Nice.
There you go. Jim R. from Kentucky.
I know Jim. I know Jim R. Yes, Jim R. provided us a whole bunch of logs.
It's Jim RKY. Maybe he needs to buy a vowel. I don't know, but I'm going to say Jim R. from Kentucky.
It sounds better than Jamerky.
Jamerky.
Yeah. So I'll give you that.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Limax says that Piffle Bear and he have slowed down on the caching just to make sure that they have caches around them for Reach the Peak, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
How long does that go on?
Forever.
Through March.
Through March? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I figured we're on Denali, which is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured
we've still got quite a few to go. And I missed my one, so I'm not going to get the final, but I'm still trying to get the rest.
I got last month only because the first Monday of the month came into the month. You know,
Mhm.
it was another weekend. I'm like, oh, because I waited too long and then had a family emergency and everything blew up. And I'm like, that's it, I'm done. Nope, I still got it.
Nice.
Took my wife out and I said, come on, we're going caching. She goes, where? I said, I don't care.
Out there.
Out there.
Speaking of fine caching goals, my goal is to cache somewhere. I don't really care where.
Ooh.
Just to cash.
Mhm.
Yeah. You gonna write that one down on paper?
Already written down. Yep. Well,
Okay.
I put my stuff in an Excel spreadsheet because that's just how I roll. But yeah.
I'm okay with that. Let's see. Do we have more from the comments? The comment section is just alive tonight.
Yeah, it's been very active, and we've had some interesting and funny stuff showing up in there.
I love it.
Yes. Getting back to the go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I was going to say,
go
getting back
ahead.
to JT Coffee's goals, 3 of the, what was it, 20 something that you did hit? But yeah, it was just
3
like,
I'm not going to hit. The
Right.
other ones that I did hit, or I have other ones that I did or
Right.
will accomplish. Yeah.
right. But how many did you say that you did hit? Was it 20 something?
1, 2, 3, 9. Well,
So many she
so
can't count
there's-
quickly. I'm
I
just
was
saying.
going to say it's an impressive average. I would definitely not call that anywhere close to a failure.
Well, there's 10 on this list that I got, but there's other ones that, you know, if I come across a challenge or something, speaking of challenges, I find those really motivating. And so I set those often as goals, and maybe it's really quick. You know, I just need a few more caches to be able to accomplish it. And so I signed one that I need 100 letterboxes for, and I only had 60 at the time I signed it. So I got 40 more. Check. Awesome. And it was just one of those temporary goals. So it didn't make the official list, but I definitely couldn't leave the year without achieving that.
You know, and I think I was thinking a little bit about my different caching goals and such, and I couldn't help but kind of almost like bucket them a little bit because, you know, there's some, like last year, for instance, for 2021, you know, we had this big event that we were going to do, and we knew we were going to publish quite a few caches for it, and there was just a lot of work to the event. So that, you know, one of my caching goals for 2021 was, you know, have a successful event. I mean, that was just that it could only happen in 2021. It's not going anywhere differently. One of my goals for 2022 is to go to Seattle in August-ish and go to the 22nd, 20th, 18th. I don't know what celebration it's going to be, but go to the big birthday bash. You know, so that's obviously a goal for 2022 that I very much like to do. And, you know, I've got 1 week or 2 weeks to make that happen. You know, it's got to happen at the beginning of August or whenever the date. I haven't looked up the new dates. But then, you know, you have goals. To your point, you know, you have all kinds of creepy goals that just pop up, like, oh my gosh, I just did this challenge, you know, and I'm only 4 caches short. You know, how can I find 4 caches? And very short term, or sometimes they're not even short term. I mean, we did one where you had to have something like 5 cache types and 6 sizes, and it turned out to be a real pain in the rear because it's an older challenge which you couldn't do today, but it included the not chosen size. And you know, like the closest not chosen Wherigo was 4.5 hours from us, you know. You know, so and I'm stuck in a situation now where my friend achieved it that we were going with, and she needed the Wherigo. Well, I think I need a multi or something weird that's just not available, and I've got to basically go to the other side of Charlotte, you know, to get it, or Raleigh. But you know, and then there's kind of like your long-term caching goals that don't really necessarily, I don't know when I'm going to get to them, but like for instance, when I look at my stats, I want to have 500 of every cache type I can conceivably have 500 of, right? I mean, so like I'm not going to get 500 webcams, obviously, and I'm probably, unless I win the lottery, I'm probably not going to get 500 gigas. Although that'd be pretty sweet to get up to 500 gigas. But, you know, virtuals, letterboxes, multis, Wherigos, even events to an extent. I've got a long way to go for events, but I'm, depending on how I count them, if I include like community celebration and all that, I'm like halfway there, which isn't half bad. But you know, so like those become kind of all right, we're going caching next weekend, and somebody wants to do Georgia State Parks because they just released a new trail. All right, I'm going to look and see if there's any where it goes anywhere close to where we're at, or any letterboxes, or any of these ones that fit the buckets where I need those. And then, kind of on a related note, I've had it as a goal, and I have a good friend that's done the same thing as a goal, but I've had it as a goal to get every virtual Earth cache, Wherigo, and letterbox in the state. That's my goal.
Mhm.
Which
Nice.
sucks on Earth Cache Day. Let me just tell you, that really sucks. Because I have to go horrible distances to get an Earth cache, because I've currently found all the Georgia Earth caches. But and that's another fun one that it's just, hey, where am I going today? Are there any Earth boxes for virtuals? Letterboxes, and and it's just one of those that you're always on the lookout for. And of course, that one changes, right? Because I could say this week I found all the letterboxes in the state, but then next week there's 10 new letterboxes that post, and of course they're going to post in the four corners of the state. They wouldn't post in Gwinnett County where I live, but they'll be north, south, east, west. But that's what makes it fun. It's one of those things like, oh gosh, hey, did you know there's a new Earth cache that dropped? We got to go get it. Come on, let's go. Kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of cool ways to look at goals, because there are those goals, and then there are kind of the combo things that you say, okay, I'm going to do this in 2021, right? This is, and it's not necessarily because it's date driven or whatever else, but it's just, what, I'm going to finish all the North Carolina counties in 2022. That's a goal that I've set for myself. So I'm a big county fan and love county caching and such. And I have, funny enough, I have Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and I've got a big gap where North Carolina is, because I'm missing like 80 counties in North Carolina. So it's like, come on.
Those gaps, I cannot stand those gaps. Or like if I've cleared out an area and I see like one cache pop up, I cannot handle that. I just cannot. And so that becomes like my new immediate must-do target, because I just cannot stand it.
And I'm not appreciating this comment down here. We don't need to be making suggestions.
Well, Just Finding Our Way says, how many cache owners have goals of making more work for GeoMonkey Tiger?
And I do appreciate, I have to say, I don't know Just Finding Our Way. I don't know this person, but I do appreciate the extra effort they went through to make sure that the sentence had an exclamation mark with a question mark, because I know that's a clumsy type.
Yeah, and a space between them. Yeah. So full marks.
Yeah, I mean, excellent writing of a horrible question.
Well, I'm thinking there's at least 5 COs doing that.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. One of the goals I had was the Wherigo caches, and one of the things I am not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of kayak caches. I'm big. I make the kayak sink. I just have this horrible fear of being swept up in rapids, blah, blah, blah. And wouldn't you know it, I had every Wherigo in the state. And somebody published 3 new Wherigos that make you go basically 30 miles down the Chattahoochee River. Like, oh, seriously? Seriously. So.
Meanwhile, JT Coffee got very, very upset and actually lost all of the light in the room,
I was holding too still. We need to do some aerobics or something so that the room still sees me.
That's one of the best things that I found out about poorly managed, poorly adjusted motion sensors is it does make you get up and move around every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not.
Right.
Well, if you give me a little heads up, I'll run and turn my light off real quick, and that way you will be alone in the darkness.
Yeah, we'll go to the after dark mode now.
Oh,
You must talk in quieter
Caching goals
tones.
after dark.
It sounds like to help some of your ultimate goals, one of your soon-to-be goals for 2022 should be host some more events, GeoMonkey Tiger.
Well, and and that is something too. You talk about kind of these different buckets of things as well. And I always like to think about my goals. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of caching goals, but I also like to think in terms of cache owner goals. What do I want to do in 2021 is a cache owner, and I include kind of events with that. So, I haven't used my community celebration event yet, which thankfully I saw they're extended through the end of 2022. Otherwise, it was going to be a very horrible event in late December. But I've been given a lot of thought about something special and unique and fun that I could do for a community celebration event, and trying to turn that into something really cool. So that's obviously one of my 2022 goals. I've also had this stupid idea for a cache series involving secret agent cows and whatnot, and I would love to put that out and get that taken care of, and get it going, and have it be shunned by millions. Um, but but what kinds of things can I do? Do I have a goal to hide X number of caches? Do I have a goal to host so many events? I haven't hosted an event in longer than I should have. I really should host some more events. I always enjoyed events, and they kind of slowed down a little bit with COVID and such. And there's a lot of active groups in the area, so it can be a little hard sometimes. But I think there's still plenty of days on the calendar that you can get a fun event in and come up with something unique and different, and have some fun with it. So.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I like having goals too of earning favorite points. I don't ask for favorite points, but I like to build caches that will earn favorite points. And so that helps me, like, well, how can I be even more creative than I was even before? Just to see what I can put out there and what I can come up with.
I will tell you, I did a series that was a story based, and so you followed this story. Half of it was on the cache page, and half of it was on the cache itself. And I literally told people that the world was going to end if they didn't give this one particular cache a favorite point. The entire future of mankind depended on it. So
a crashing house.
yeah, well, what it was it's perfectly plausible. But what happened was the cache would get 100 favorite points, and then it would attract two people who would meet, and their children's children would be one of the ones that would save the world, so to speak. So, but it depended on this chance meeting at this geocache, which wouldn't happen unless it got 100 favorite points. So, and sadly, it didn't get 100 favorite points. It got like 60, but it didn't get 100, and so it's not good looking good for your children's children. So, just throwing that out there.
100 years down the road, we're in trouble, huh?
Exactly. Probably closer to 200, but yeah, But
200, I don't mind. I shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wait,
I never really thought about making the host more events into a goal, because the problem right now is simply you can't host events in a lot of areas, at least not indoors in our area. So, it's not really a goal. It's like a dream to get the events going. So, I've still got that community celebration that I keep sitting on, and I keep like checking to see if there's anything I can do to make that one work. And we've hosted a lot of these monthly meet and greets. So we really kind of wanted to do it around that kind of theme again. And we just can't do that. So, I think that's going to end up being a goal, is to start hosting some events, even if I can't do it in the original style that we've been doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And the good news is I'm hopeful that, I've been saying this for 2 years, but I'm hopeful that, we're getting to a point where, I know here there are very few restrictions on indoor or outdoor events. I mean, they're just starting to, whether that change, I'm sure that's all going to change because I've said something, but there just aren't very many. So, I mean, in terms of doing that, we certainly have the flexibility, but it's just that matter of what can I do that's, something fun and different and interesting and has a little bit of a twist to it. People will say, oh yeah, I remember that event. It was a cool event, kind of thing. So,
yeah. Well, and a lot of the places that we've been using, even if they don't have the restrictions, they've still closed the dining rooms.
Right.
So you'd have to do it somewhere else because there's nowhere indoor to do it. And, all of about 3 months of the year are nice in this area for outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Not for like getting out and doing stuff, but for doing the outdoor picnics and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if we tried to do it right now, we'd have problems with, everything, including the tables, blowing away.
Yeah.
Well, it was a mind-numbing 57 degrees here today, so I could see here we just don't have any options for outdoor.
That's I think about what we hit today for our high in Detroit, but we had 55-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. I held my community celebration event in Detroit this year, and it was so cold. It was sunny and beautiful, but we just stood there and just like we're happily shivering.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour event.
And by the way, And by the way, Daryl, I've just got 2 words for you: hidden kite geocaches. There you are. That's your 55-mile-an-hour event.
I
Yeah.
was
Okay.
gonna say that's way
Okay.
too
Yeah.
many words.
Hidden kite's one word. That's
Now I get
hyphenated.
it. If it's a event, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, there you go. So,
That could be a
55
lot of
mile an
fun.
hour winds, no problem. That makes the kite flying even more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Don't
Is
bring
it kite
children.
flying at that point, or does it become kite sailing?
We'll say
Kite surfing.
flying to be optimistic. Actually, it's probably more kite blowing away and me chasing it, but we'll say kite flying.
All right. So JT Coffee, why don't we try to save ourselves from some of the bad jokes and get to some of the suggestions that you might have for us?
for setting goals.
Yeah. Maybe some of the good goals that, you had 10 goals that you met this year.
Oh yeah.
What are some of the things that you're maybe looking at for this year or for 2022?
Oh, it is, so many. A lot of them are similarly inspired, like Monkey Tiger was talking about, how I like real round numbers of things, and so I just noticed I'm real close to. I can hear myself. I'm sorry if I'm echoing.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, great. I'm noticing I was not so far away from some round numbers, and so achieving those round numbers, that's definitely going to happen. I am starting to get more into lap or fizzy loops, so I think I need to do a few more of those this year. That's my like empty square thing. I don't want to see those lighter
How many do you
colored
have?
squares anymore. I've
How many
done 7 or 6. I've done 6 right now. I'm working on 7, and I want the squares to turn darker colors because I don't like the lighter squares, and so now I've got to set my goals that way. Um, One of my challenges are always a goal for me, and one of the ones that I didn't hit this year is a old cache challenge in one of the counties out here. So I want to do that for next year. And one of my goals for this year was finding 50% of Washington State's earth caches, which I did achieve, and so now I just need to set a different percentage to see, but I haven't quite landed on what that is. And how I kind of go about setting my goals is just, I look at my stats, or I look at what's coming up. Like you mentioned, Monkey Tiger, that there's if you're planning on coming to Seattle with the celebration event, maybe hitting up some of the old caches and maybe working on a Jasmer would be maybe this is the year for that, or doing a busy day with a lot of different icons in one day. And so I look at what's ahead and what I know is already coming up and what might be accessible, and then I might try to leverage what I can do with those things that are coming up.
Yeah, and I think for most of us, 2022 is going to involve the events out in the Pacific Northwest because, well, we've been waiting for these for 3 years now.
Yeah.
How can we not make every possible effort to be there?
I'm so excited. I've been waiting too.
Yeah, well, and it's like, I still wonder if it's going to be anything more at this point than hey, we're finally allowed out of the house.
You're out of your house. So am I. Hey.
This is how it feels like.
Whoa, there's the Space Needle. Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've been out running around for the last year-ish, and it still feels like we're trapped at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we actually get to do it, which I think there's a good chance, it's just going to be everyone's so excited to be out that no one's going to know what to do anymore.
I know. All the awkward hugs.
Yeah, it's going to be like
yeah.
I don't know how to greet people. Do you shake hands? Do you fist bump? Do you
Oh, man.
elbow? I'm just like, okay, how would you like to greet? I can match that.
We had a bunch of that going on with the contractors this last week, and it was like just so awkward.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing jazz hands. Jazz hands are out. That was never the way to do it to begin with.
Oh, but you do them so well.
Oh, disco. Yeah.
Finger guns. Hey.
Oh my. So yeah, that's definitely, I think, going to be a big one for a lot of people. And then, of course, everyone always does the, hey, I want to find X number of caches. So I might try to do more than one a day this year. But in order to do that, I have to say, okay, I've got to find caches without vlogging about it.
Because that takes up all your time right there.
Well, the way that we've been doing it is nowhere near as bad as what I used to do. I used to go and do the whole thing of, okay, we have to go and get the footage of approaching the cache and, leaving the, so the whole thing of, a real big production. But when you have to try to keep it down into like the 3 to 5 minute range, which is our target for most of our videos, and I'll add, we usually don't make that, but we're usually at like 7. But it just kind of frees you from doing that. So it's been a lot more fun doing this kind of vlogging than the stuff I did 15 years ago.
GSM times 2 says, I'm working on filling my calendar to 26 each day, but that's a 2-year goal.
Yep.
Nice.
I like those multi-year goals when you help your future self. I do that a lot of I want to fill in my calendar. I can't do it all in 1 year, but I'm going to do as best as I can this year so that next year I can achieve it.
Yeah, I like those too. Yeah, and one of our goals this year is making sure to fill out Renee's calendar because we didn't make it this year. And part of our problem is December.
December, so hard.
It is so hard. Come Thanksgiving, who has time to go out caching?
Well, and then it's dark. If it's it's so dark so early and it gets light so much later. So in the summertime, maybe you can swing by, get a cache on your way in, or you take the long route home and pick up, maybe 5 on your way home, or you do an adventure lab or something, or, all that kind of thing. But in the winter, it's so hard both to just get motivated because it's dark and cold, but sometimes it's just not logistically feasible. It is raining or snowing or blowing or, whatever.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's a great time to do those night caches, though, as long as you can see the reflectors or whatever it is if there's no snow. So, yeah, it's just challenge after challenge. And this year we've been lucky because it has not had all that much snow. But it's still just really tough to get out caching. And we've had this year really weird weather where it's like raining at 30 degrees. So it's instantly freezing on stuff. Especially like your nose and fingers and in your hair.
Yeah, we don't really do that in Georgia. We're good. Yep.
So yeah,
I mean, it does get like to 40, and I start complaining incessantly about how cold it is. But
see, we'll just send you some of our cold and grab some of your heat then.
I'm not in favor of that deal. But
I don't know if we got up to 40 today.
Yeah.
even if it includes some nice icy rain. I know you guys kind of want the water.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah. We'll trade you some water for some heat.
You guys are so kind. I can't just get over your kindness, but I couldn't put you out. I mean, I would just hate all the people of Michigan miss that freezing rain, and then they're complaining because why did we get rid of it? Oh, some dude with an exclamation mark in his name in Georgia wanted freezing rain. I mean, it'd be like a whole new battle between Michigan and Georgia.
Again.
There's not enough of those going on.
Exactly.
GSM times 2 says Michigan sent its cold to Texas. How did that work out? Fine for me.
Texas is fine. You could send it there.
Wow. Hey, Daryl, several times during the show, we mentioned these events here in the Northwest. We should probably officially label them and date them so that those listening will go, yeah, when is that happening? So,
but then it's not as challenging.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah. We got to make people work for it a little bit.
I'm still going to do it. August 13th.
I will admit I'm one of those people that goes, what are those dates? When do I need to be in Seattle? I probably need to look at a ticket.
August 13th.
We've had a couple of different versions of the dates. You have to make sure to hit the 2022.
DC is Geo Woodstock 18. So write that down. Geo Monkey Tiger. I don't see a pencil in your hand.
I'm
See?
using my
Look at
Excel
JT
spreadsheet.
Remember,
Coffee.
he's
She's
a
already got her
spreadsheet
calendar.
guy.
If
Oh, yeah.
in my notebook, I have some calendar pages that I have printed out so that I can work on my calendar days. And this,
Mhm.
yeah. So
And
calendar.
then the following, that's GC8 VDF, if you're looking for Geo Woodstock. Next week, August 20th, 2022, at Seattle Center. That's, you just drive to the Space Needle. You can't miss it. That whole area right there is Seattle Center. And it's the geocaching 20th anniversary time warp, whatever they're calling it there. And that is GC 896 PK. And the lights go out. I thought the lights went out in Georgia. No.
Only at night. Oh wait.
Oh, okay.
I think the devil came down first and stole a fiddle.
Oh,
or
yeah, that's
I couldn't follow the whole thing.
Okay.
But I know it's on my mind.
But bump.
See, and I thought the lights going out were just our cue that, we've been going too long.
It's like the hook.
The bad jokes need to end.
A subtle reminder.
So with all of that, have you guys come up with your goals for 2022 yet? And
Like
I have the feeling I know JT's goals are probably like she has some of, but not all of those 2022 goals.
Right.
You have any that you care to share that we haven't already talked about? Maybe.
Let's see. Yeah, fizzy laps. I want to do some more loops around my fizzies. I've got some blackout.
How many? No vagueness. So what are you going to get to?
I want 10.
10. Double digits. That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. I want double digits. I'm still trying to land on how many days I want for each calendar square. I am going to, and I also am trying to land on how many I want for the whole year. Generally, I try to go with about 2,000 a year, but I might need to kick that up for 2022. I haven't quite decided, but I think I might. And finishing the challenges that I didn't get to setting. There's some blackout challenges that are kind of in my area that I'd like to continue to work on. That involves solving some really tough puzzles, and it's the perfect time of year to get to the bottom of some of those really tough ones. But that's kind of what that goal is hinging on, is if I can get to the bottom of those puzzles, and finish my calendar flavors.
And that's only a quarter of the goals that you'll probably have for 2022.
Yeah, then I'll do some sort of challenge power trail or something and find a whole bunch of more goals.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm jealous. Mostly of the numbers, because I just can't even apparently do one a month or one a day for an entire year. But lots of cool, fun stuff in that one for sure. Geo Monkey Tiger, how about you?
I'd like to find 3 caches in 2022, so I feel that's achievable. No,
you'll do it in the first day. Done.
Done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, or nice and breezy. Which one do you guys say? By the way, we have a real debate here about whether it's easy peasy lemon squeezy or easy peasy nice and breezy. Or do you have some third option that's wrong? Breezy. Okay, you do the breezy.
I do the breezy.
JT Coffee?
I just say easy peasy. I just end it there.
Okay, that's just totally wrong, so I'll just discount that. Chris?
Lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy. Okay, so
I haven't heard easy breezy.
So. Okay. Anyway,
so
no, in terms of 2022, I mean, I have these kind of far-reaching goals. I mentioned the one about having 500 of every type. There's some real tough ones there because, like, for instance, I need 500 virtuals. And I'm not terribly far away. I think I'm 460-ish, somewhere in that range, but I've also found every virtual in Georgia and, quite a few in Tennessee and South Carolina and such. So, I got to go somewhere to get virtuals, which, isn't necessarily a problem. I do have a goal. I would love to finish all the, I mentioned this before, but the Earth Cache is where it goes, virtuals and letterboxes in the state. And the biggest challenge I have there are letterboxes, and it's a challenge for two reasons. I'm down to about 30 of them. So I don't actually have that many. And actually a good chunk of them are on this big bike trail called the Silver Comet Trail that's kind of out west, that if I rounded up a couple of bikes and got a couple of friends, I'm sure we can make good work of it. But there's one that's like on an island 4 hours from home that you need a boat for, that you can't really rent a boat. So I've got to see if I can maybe bribe the CO to take me out there. If that'll be my last one, that'd be kind of a nice little treat. But those are the big ones. I really would like to. I do like counties, and North Carolina is just this kind of gaping hole in my map, and I would love to finish my county map. And I'm very much too. I don't know how everybody else is, but I'm not a huge solo cacher fan. Like, there are very few caching goals that I would achieve on my own. Probably the only caching goal that I ever really truly achieved on my own was my streak goal. Just because you just can't get somebody to go with you for 404 days or 366 days or whatever. You have to do a good chunk of it alone. But like North Carolina, I have a friend that I've done a lot of the local states with, and I have another great friend that I do tons of counties. So that's why I have all the counties in Pennsylvania for some reason, but I don't have North Carolina. But anyway, so I do love filling in counties. I would like to get to the halfway mark on counties. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I'm at 1,200-ish, I think, or so right now. And what is it? 1,600 is halfway. So halfway on the county mark would be a nice goal. I love Project GC just because I love the badges. If you ever go to the badge gen and look at the different badges, and I'm always kind of scanning those and working those. Those are probably my biggest goals that I've kind of got going on. Oh, in the Georgia State Parks just initiated kind of 4 new coin trails. So if you visit these caches, you can earn a coin, and they've divided it into like lakes, swamps, mountains, plains. Maybe I should know this, but they've got 4 different regions. So I would love to finish the state park series and get those done. I've got about maybe an eighth of it done. They just came out last year, and I did a terrible job of going out there, but I'd love to finish that and earn those coins. That'd be kind of cool. What I was going to say though is, like, for certain goals, like the letterboxes where it goes, and we've also lumped in kind of caches hidden before January 1st, 2002. So making sure we have kind of the older caches in the state. One thing that's really cool that I really do enjoy doing is utilizing my bookmark list. So when I've got specific caches like that are, either date driven or larges, I'm a big fan of large caches. I just freak out whenever I see a large cache. All these things I put on bookmark lists. And then what I'm doing is I'm planning trips. I'm sure you guys have talked about Cache Tour on this program before, and its amazing features. Well, one of my very favorite features in the world is the route overlay, right? So if I'm planning a caching trip, maybe I'm doing state parks or something. Okay, I pick these state parks, boom, 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 boom. The next thing that I'll do is I'll go back to the geocaching website, pull up my list of caches that are my year 2001s and my larges and everything else, and overlay my route on my list map so that I can say, oh, you know what? I'm awful close to this one here that I need for this goal. It's just being aware of it and constantly kind of thinking about it. You may not get something on your caching goals every single list, but you shouldn't walk out the door without saying, did I check and make sure something's on my that I'm not going to drive by something on my cache list or something close to my cache list. So it's just that kind of persistence to say, I've made these goals, and I'm going to just verify each. I don't have to plan every single trip that's going to meet my goals. I have some friends that hate my goals and want no part of them. But if we're getting close to some old cache or something, I could probably talk somebody into a one-off cache here or there.
Excellent. So just a little bit of work to do this year.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little. All right, Chris, do you have anything that you've decided on yet?
I was looking at my finds each day of the year, and I'm like, there's a lot where I just have one. I need to at least get 2 and work up
Makes
from
sense.
there. So,
yeah. So I think a lot of us have that same kind of calendar-based thing.
Mhm.
Anything else that you're going to be picking up, or you're going to leave it with the multitude of caches every day?
Well, I'm going to try to do that. Of course, I've got to get the overall count up. And, I was looking at my types of caches, or I'm sorry, containers. and larges, I just don't have many of. So I think I might join Geo Monkey Tiger and trying to find more larges.
Go large.
Awesome.
Woo woo.
I think Chiki is freaking out whenever you see one. That'll help you.
Yes.
You have to you have to be obsessive about it. You have to be able to look at the people you're traveling with and they go, wait a minute, Janiac, why are we going an hour out the wrong direction from our route? Oh, because there's a large down there. We got to get this large. Did you see it? There's a large. There's only like 60 in the state. We got to get this one. It's right there. We're only an hour. And be really convincing because they'll just look at you very strangely and it'll take a little bit of work, but eventually they'll just be like, this is very important. We should go get this. And pretty soon they'll be looking at the map going, there's a large nearby. Really, where? South Carolina? Ooh, that's not far at all.
Nice. All right. So I think I'm going to be boring and do the better than one a day because, well, I still am having problems making that much. So, hopefully that's still achievable. We definitely are going to try for filling in Renee's calendar because she's still missing a whole bunch of days. Definitely making it to the events this summer. Of course, got to do that one. And I think I'm going to make it my mission, not just a goal, my mission to get the Community Day celebration and at least one other event hosted this year.
Nice.
All right, and Daryl, I just pulled up your stats on Project GC. I think you need to get your letterbox and where it goes in triple digits. I think that would be a good 2022 goal.
I don't think I'm that far in the where I goes, but the letterboxes, I thought I was a good distance.
Yeah, you've got that back. Well, you're not really far on any of it. You have 35 Wherigos and you have 57 letterboxes.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought I had more Wherigos.
That's less than 100 caches.
There's got to be a letterbox trail or something like that nearby.
We don't have a whole lot of the letterbox trails, but we do have some letterboxes on the trails. So we'll have the bike trails, and that's one of the things I was considering adding. Was I really, and this is more just a desire, I guess, but I really want to get back out on a bike trail by bike to find caches. Because I haven't done that for like 3-4 years now. And it's just an entertaining way to get a whole bunch of caches, but you're not going to get anywhere near as many if you do it by car. Or if you were to do it by car. But it's a lot more fun.
I just did that this year for the first time. I got a bike and I started on bike trails. I'm like, this is so much better than walking. Oh my gosh.
and oh my gosh.
I'm not sure it's necessarily better than walking, but it is a lot more fun than walking.
Oh, it's mechanical advantage. Yes, of course it's better.
Yeah, well, and you can do more caches by far. But the hard part that we always have to deal with is getting the bike to not fall down.
Oh, that is a key step.
Or finding some place that you can nicely and safely lay the bike down, which on our bike trails, there's not much of that.
I will say, Daryl, I am in awe of your 20 mega events. That is
for
that
a
is
long time.
Number.
I was doing at least 2 a year.
Nice.
And I'm hoping to do many, many more this year. Though I
went to 2 megas. I went to 2 megas this year and finally hit 10, which got me my top badge in Project GC. So I was excited about that. So I am in awe of your doubled 20 over here.
Well, I have the advantage of Midwest Geo Bash being about an hour and a half away.
There you go.
So
well,
I've
got going caching in Rome, so that's kind of the same.
But that takes a little bit more commitment.
Yeah.
You can certainly do it as a day event, but if you're really going to do it, you have to be there for multiple days.
It is best, yes.
Yeah. And that's not going to be a goal this year because I know I can't do it. But I definitely need to get back to going caching.
Cool.
One of the most memorable events that I've ever done.
They do put on an amazing event every year.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Before we take off, let's let you guys give a chance to plug whatever you want to plug. So, Geo Monkey Tiger, I'll let you go first because you're probably the one who actually knows that we're going to do this, and I don't know that I mentioned it to JT Coffee yet.
I don't think you mentioned it to me either. Oh gosh, I don't.
Oh, come on. We let you do it at the end of every show.
Well, you know, I mean,
It's been a while though. I know, we're pushing 2 years, I think, since you were last on.
it's been a little while.
Yeah.
I will just say I talked a little bit about it. We did a lot of work in Jackson County this year. If you haven't been out there, if you're anywhere in the southeast, come on down. We got 14 really cool gadget caches. We've got a 60 cache cow geo art. We've got 39 cool challenge caches, and we did the challenge caches as kind of bronze, silver, gold levels. So that it's really 13 different types, but there's kind of 3 levels. So pretty much anybody that's got more than 100 caches will qualify for the bronze, and then silver and gold. The golds are really tough. The silvers are mid-range, obviously. Um, and then we also did 81 puzzles. We did one for each spot in the DT grid. So we did 1-1 through 5-5 that are a lot of fun as well. So come on down to Jackson County. Enjoy our stuff. We did do quite a bit of work. So.
And while you were doing that, we had a couple of folks in the chat giving me where I go trails to check out.
There you go. You're right in range. You only need 65.
Yeah, something to look at for sure. I don't know that I'm willing to do that.
And I did just say we have
GeoArt?
I did just say we have a cow that's 60 GeoArt, 60 where goes. So, and
It's
it's
really close.
It's a cow. Come on,
it's a cow.
It's a cow.
But
How can
does
you
it
not
fly?
want to do a cow?
I'm sorry, is it a cow?
It's a cow, like beef.
It's a cow. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. Although from the early renderings of it, you would never have guessed it was a cow from the first couple of stats I took at it. Needless to say, the cow came a long way.
All right, so JT Coffee, anything you want to plug?
Oh, just to get out and go caching. Even set those goals. Even there's no such thing as a bad goal or a good goal. Even if it's just find a cache once a month or something like that. It gets you outside and it gets you out caching, and it's goals can be challenging for you, and it doesn't matter if it's not challenging for somebody else. And I love being creative with challenges and with goals too. Of where is it a stretch when it's what's just hard enough so that it's fun but not so hard that it's not achievable. And yeah, hide something, try something new, try an adventure lab, go do a bunch of where it goes, because not a lot of people do those. So yeah, just get out and have fun.
Awesome. And thank you both again for joining us on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, same. Likewise.
And check the Cachemaniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads at cachemaniacs.com or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cachemaniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron at the link on the website to support the Cachemaniacs shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Krent Safenar and Daryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2021 by Daryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.